Look around you. People are talking about World War III. Oh, Iran, the USA, everything is Israel's fault. They're talking about World War III like it's some future event, like it's going to involve tanks and bullets and guns and distant borders. But look, man, World War III, it's a truth that nobody really wants to say out loud, not even me sometimes. But the reality is that for Black Americans, World War III has already been fought and lost. Now, a lot of people are not going to like that. Brandon, you always hating, you a coon, you always hating on black folks. You don't never say nothing good about black folks. I mean, my question is, what is there good to say about us? You speak to me as if I'm not one of you, as if I haven't lived through it and experienced the same things that you've experienced. War isn't something that's all about guns and bullets. It's about resources, land, probably the most important. But I think there's something even more important: vision. Do you know what that means? Do you understand it? Have you embraced it? We lost World War III not because we weren't tough, not because we weren't resilient, not because we weren't athletic enough. I mean, damn, can't nobody beat us in a foot race. That's not even a question. We lost because we entered the greatest era of modern human history, the greatest era that is characterized by unprecedented competition with no goals, no cohesive strategy, and zero plan to work out our own sovereignty. Now, when I say sovereignty, I don't mean sovereignty like a crazy ass Moorish to do with the weird shit on his head would say. I mean sovereignty of thought, sovereignty of goals, sovereignty of ambition. What do we want? When do we want it, and how are we going to get it, even if nobody on earth wants us to have it? See, that's why you have such a huge issue with the players in today's global theater. You have an issue with you love Iran, which I don't care about that. You hate Israel, which I don't care about that either. You despise America, but what are the reasons for that? Because it's not really about what you're doing, it's about why you're doing it. See, when we talk about why black folks hate or love, it's a very touchy subject. Because being black, I know that usually the reasons we give for doing a certain thing or operating in a certain way are usually not the real reasons. Why do you have a problem with Israel and America, but you love Iran? It's not because the Jews are responsible for every major catastrophe in human history. The Jews ran the slave trade. That's not why. The real reason is United States of America and Israel with the Jews are the epitome of global success and dominance. When you think about a Jewish person, you think about money. When you think about the United States of America, you think about unprecedented success as a nation, and maybe even the greatest nation to ever grace the face of the earth. When you think about Iran, you think about a outmatched underdog who is doing their best to retain sovereignty and autonomy in a world where everyone's against them. You see an underdog. And because we've been trained to do so in America, we always root for the underdog. Remember the Titans, the movie Rudy, every damn boxing movie, Rocky, you name it. We love rooting for an underdog. The only problem is, though you may love to root for an underdog, you are not an underdog. though you see yourselves, black folks, as an oppressed group doing their best to survive in a world with unbridled oppression where the white man is holding you back every time you try to take a step forward. Unfortunately for you, the rest of the world just simply does not see you as that. The rest of the world looks at you as a group of people who has an extremely fortunate circumstance that you've been born into. Your proximity to wealth, the riches of America, your access to American resources is something that the rest of the world envies. There isn't a member of the IRGC who right now wouldn't trade places with you. At the minute he gets here and you get there, he ain't going to get on the internet to complain about how you're being mistreated. He's going to go get a job, make money, and begin to build wealth for his family. Why aren't you doing that? People just don't understand that while other groups play chess, they move to take position on the board, Black America is just stagnant, trying to find a way to present ourselves as the victim, trying to find ourselves within other groups and within situations and current events that have nothing to do with us. What the hell do you care about Iran? I don't, not really. Only way I will care is if they launch a bomb over here and actually hit us. Then I'll roll over and lift my head up to see who's that rustling around in the front yard. But we love to pretend. We love the theater. We love a good vaudeville or a minstrel. And that's exactly what it seems Black people have become when it comes to the international stage. Other groups are securing themselves for the next century of power. Instead of doing the same, Black folks have been led into a decorative cul-de-sac, you know what that is, of symbolism and feel-good moments that don't pay the bills or protect the borders of our own communities. We're a nation within a nation, currently drifting at sea with no compass. If you don't have a plan, you're simply a part of someone else's. And right now, we are the footnote in a story being written by people who don't even look like us. I said what I said. Let's get into this. What's up, y'all? I see y'all in here. I was trying to do my little monologue. But yeah, this a lot of people not gonna like this. And if it keeps you in the purgatory of low views, I mean, I was one of the guys, I had the big views, 200 people, 300 people watching every episode. But if I'm in low views because I'm telling Black folks what they don't want to hear, well, then let me just stay in low views then. Because I didn't come here to make you feel good. I came here to let you know the reality. Too many times when we pick up these cell phones, we get stuck in a world of fantasy for the entire day. Only lifting our heads up when it's time to eat something or putting the phone down when it's time to go to sleep. No one else has the heart to tell you. They just give you information. That's it. I have a friend on Facebook. He posts all types of bullshit. People love him for some reason. I say, bro, a lot of stuff you post is not factually true. He said, man, I just post what I see on the internet. See, though Black folks love to consume information, we really suffer. We really struggle in the area of putting it to use. You heard what I said in the monologue earlier? Instead of writing our own story, we're just a footnote in someone else's story. Not only a group of people who don't look like us, hell, most of the world doesn't even see us. Black folks are on the internet screaming about a country where 90% of the population wouldn't even say a word to you if you walk past them on the street. Black folks are on the internet condemning two world powers for what they're doing in Iran. Nothing you say or do is going to stop it. So why do you waste your time complaining about it? Oh, we're searching for a feel-good moment. Because like Holly Berry in Monsters Ball, we want to feel good. Forget a feeling. I need some facts. Forget being on the moral side of history. I need some resources. Because no matter what way things go historically, the people with the money, they always tell the history. And they always find a way to survive. Now, I'm going to get into some of the reasons why I feel like this is the way it is. But before I keep going, I got to do my own advertisement. We have a challenge posted at the top of the chat. We're asking for $5 super chats before the end of the show. And I know because all of y'all are my bros and my sisters and my kinfolk, you will do your best to help me reach that goal. We are in sunny Southern California. It is hot as bejesus outside, and you know I'm kind of big. So I've been sweating. But I still made it here to be with you, and you made it here to be with me. Like Biggie Smalls said in the song Sky is the Limit, you could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here with me. I never seen it broke his beat. No, I'm just kidding. Let me stop quoting Biggie. And just like that on cue, the lovely lady of the house and of the evening brings the fan in because it's hot. We ain't turned on no type of AC or nothing like that. We old school. We throw on fans because that's just how we do. You know what I'm saying? How many of y'all still sleep with the fan on? You know if you sleep with a fan on, you get them. You're probably going to die early too. But it is what it is. But if you do not have the ability to send a super chat, there's also pinned to the top of the chat, Cash App available, and PayPal. And because I don't know what the hell they're doing with my account, if you send a Cash App, you're probably going to be buying me dinner tonight because I have no money that I have access to right now. Ryan, have you seen that black card? I lost my damn debit card. I don't know where it is. Now you guys know all my business. I don't know where my little LBC debit card is. Damn. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I'm starving unless you guys choose to feed me. So let's talk about this. The first issue that we're really struggling with here is we have this love for a symbolic or a moral victory. I remember when I was playing football, my coach used to be like, sometimes we would lose, very rarely. And you would have people like, look on the bright side, you went out there and played hard. The parents, they're trying to console you, all this type of stuff. And as soon as we would walk off that field into the locker room, my coach would be like, F that. There are no moral victories. It doesn't matter what your parents are telling you. It doesn't matter what the cheerleaders are telling you. You went out there, you didn't work as hard as you should have, and you got your ass kicked. And it's going to happen the same way next week if you don't change something about the way you're thinking. And that's me. I'm just the old fat football coach trying to give black people the kick in the ass that they need to get things going. But we just love a symbolic victory. We prioritize surface level representation or first. Oh, we was the first this. We was the first that. Oh, the first black president. The first female black president. The first blah, 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 blah. We love that shit. But we prioritize it over material and systemic gains, right? While you worried about being the first, other groups of people are securing their economic base in America, and now they will see their first, second, and third before you ever even see a second. I'll give you an example. Look at the presidential elections of old versus the presidential elections of now. Back in the day, you were lucky to see one black person on stage. You would see no Latinos and you would see no Indians. Red dot, not feather. Now, look at the presidential elections. Last year's election, last election, you had, well, not the last one with Joe Biden. That was pretty much Trump and Biden. But the one before that, where Biden was running, how many Indian people did you have on stage? You had Nikki Haley and you have Vivek Ramaswamy, a group that literally makes up less than 2% of the United States population, had two people standing on stage on the Republican side of the aisle trying to become president. And guess what? They didn't do bad. Vivek became an overnight sensation who is now running for the governor's seat of Ohio. And Nikki Haley was many Republican people's alternative to Trump if he were to be found guilty or deemed unelectable due to his legal battles. How is it that a population that doesn't even represent 3% of the entire U.S. population had more people on stage on the Republican side of the ticket than African Americans, even though we are 44 million and represent between 12 and 14% of the population? Does that make sense? On the other side of the aisle, the Democrat side, we had even less black people. We had no black people. We had one Indian lady named Kamala Harris who was pretending to be black. That's how down bad we are. Black people went from the president before the last president being black and running for 2 terms to having zero representation on stage on either side of the aisle in the next 2 elections. Let that sink in. Hell, the next 3 elections. So much for being first, right? So much for representation. So much for the symbolism. What kind of symbol is that? What does that symbolize? You went from having what many people considered one of the greatest presidents in the history of this country, Barack Obama, to having 0 black candidates on stage to fight or compete for the office of the presidency. Even now, as we look to 2028, there is not a single black politician who is even in the conversation on either side of the aisle to run for the presidency. But this is what symbolism gets you. Here's the difference. Oh, wait, don't even let me get started about Latinos. Latinos got 3-4 people every time now. Whether it's Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, one of them. They have representation in every presidential election, and it's not one person. Never one person. It's usually 2 to 3 people on either side of the aisle, right? And they are constantly running for elected positions, whether it's the Senate, whether it's the House. There, you always have Latinos actively running campaigns, competing to get into those positions of power. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Everyone could agree to that. So what it's looking like going into the future is as white people become, as they lose their spot as the majority, you're going to see even less black people competing for the highest position in the country. Because even now, if you look at the politicians that we have in Congress, if you look at who is sitting in those seats and the things they're doing, they're either getting pushed out of elected positions, Jamal Bowman, Cori Bush, Nina Turner, just to name a few, Jasmine Crockett, or they behaved in such an ignorant manner or supported such unpopular ideas and policies that no one in America would consider them to be electable. You're already seeing it. Look at Jasmine Crockett. She was the darling of the black Democrat side of the aisle. They got rid of her like nothing. They replaced Jasmine Crockett with a man who believes there's like 25 different genders. They They replaced her with a man who thinks that transgender children are made in God's image and that God loves them more than everyone else. We're down bad. We'll literally celebrate the appointment of a black official to a high-ranking position even when their policies or their track record don't align with or actively harm the interest or the economic interest of the black community. That's what we do. Jasmine Crockett, let's, for example, she never discusses this, but as a Democrat, every single anti-black piece of legislation that the Democrats have voted in favor of, she votes in favor of it. Every piece of legislation that Democrats vote against that we believe would help black people, she votes against it. They always vote in line with the party, and when it comes to the party, color doesn't even matter. If there was a bill that reached Congress and it was like, yo, we're voting for reparations, and the Democrat Party said, well, we ain't gonna vote for this. This is a no vote. Do you really believe in your heart of hearts the black Democrats would say, yeah, let's vote for it, even though all the other Democrats are voting against it? They never will. They didn't in California when Bill Assaley tried to motion for the California legislature to vote on reparations. Not a single one of the black Democrat legislators would second the motion so that the legislators would be forced to vote on reparations. Even the black Democrat man who wrote the bill refused to second the motion to have the bill voted on. I want y'all to really just let that marinate. That's what symbolism get you. That's what just wanting to have somebody up there because they look like you gets you. If that wasn't enough of an example, look at Brandon Johnson down in Chicago. Brandon Johnson ran on a campaign of cultural Marxism. He said that he was going to give all types of free stuff, employ black youth. Everybody was going to be riding on Easy Street, and it was all going to be funded and financed by the rich. The minute the rich abandoned Chicago, Brandon Johnson didn't even hesitate to raise the property taxes of black Chicagoans by over 100%. And why is he needing this money? So that he can give more money to illegal immigrants and the non-government organizations that continue giving them a luxurious experience inside the United States where they reside illegally. The second issue, I would say, is a monolithic voting strategy. Everywhere you go, anytime you talk to black people, we're not a monolith. That's what we say. We're not a monolith. But everything we do is monolithic. I'm telling you. I'll give you an example. Right now, black people are on this big old thing where they hate Israel, they hate America, but they love Iran. Okay, I can respect, as a black man, I can respect that you support Iran. You feel like they're the underdog. You feel like they're being, unfairly targeted. They're basically being jumped by the United States and Israel. And we know that if it was just Israel versus Iran, it would be more of a fair fight. But Israel brought their big homie, the USA, and the USA is operating with a heavy hand in the region. I can respect why you feel sympathy for Iran. I can. I understand. I put myself in your shoes, and I honestly can say, you know what? I've been there. I get it. I get where you're coming from. I'm not calling you names. I'm not calling you a coon. I'm not making fun of you. None of that. I'm just like pointing out some things that might be inconsistent in your argument, But overall, I understand it. I've been there. Who doesn't like an underdog story? But then when I say, look, I really don't care. I really don't have a dog in the fight. Actually, I do have a dog in the fight. It's the biggest dog in the fight, and that's the United States. My biggest thing is that if Iran actually does succeed in reaching America with intercontinental ICBMs, right? Intercontinental ballistic missiles, if they do succeed in reaching America with hypersonic missiles, America really doesn't have a missile defense system, right? We would pretty much be trying to intercept the missiles from with aircraft carriers, aircraft, and we have some missile defense, but this is a big country, and there's no way we're able to cover the entire country with any type of missile defense that we have. So I understand that if they were able to reach this country, that would mean the death of Americans. And because I'm an American, hell, who knows? You see what's going on in Israel? They got bombs hitting apartments. I'm not saying Iran's doing that on purpose, but it's happening. Same thing, vice versa. Israel is hitting some apartments and civilians are dying, right? All I'm saying is I don't want that happening here. And in order for that not to happen here, because we kicked over the hornet's nest, the United States of America, in league with Israel, is going to have to, in my opinion, have a flawless victory. I'm talking about it has to be total domination from start to finish. That's what I'm rooting for. Because in that event, it puts me and my family and your family in less danger. For having that sentiment, I am being called a coon, a sellout, a Uncle Tom. You should just see these emails. They get kind of crazy. I am controlled by Israel and Zionist, right? Like crazy. And I'm like, I'm being controlled by Zionists because I don't want my kids to get blown up with a hypersonic missile. Even an animal run in the den with its young when the predator come through. Even the monkeys jump up in a tree when the lion come walking by. But me, I'm stupid. I'm a coon because I don't want my kids to have to be having missile drills at school. It makes no sense. But that's the monolithic way black people think. If you don't agree with what we believe and want to be true verbatim, you are somehow an outsider or a traitor. If black people truly ran the media would be useless because it would only be one side. Not only would the media pundits turn on anybody who dares to think or disagree, the viewers would turn on them. And then everybody would just say, you know what, let me just capitulate and tell these people what they want to hear, because if I don't, they're gonna go off on me, right? Literally, we give away political leverage. We guarantee our allegiance to one side from the very beginning without sitting back just waiting to see how things develop. We really have no demands. We really have no expectation. We don't have any concept of quid pro quo. And we don't have an agenda that demands a return on what we're giving. I would tell you something that's crazy right now. Donald Trump, I would say, is in a very tough position. I want you to listen to me. Don't leave. Don't go check the mail. Listen to me so you can understand the way I think, because that's what we also do. We don't take the time to understand how people think and what they have to say. That's why a lot of y'all kids be mad at y'all, because you don't even listen to them. You just jump and shut them down. Listen to me. Do you realize what a powerful position Black America? Sorry about that. Do you realize what a powerful position Black America could be in if we would just for 1 second entertain the idea of selling our vote or our support? I want you to think about that. Do you realize what a powerful position you're really in right now? Just like in 2020, Donald Trump really needs the black vote. He really needs it in the midterms because, according to all the channels that you watch on TV, a lot of political analysts, the Republicans are on track to lose in the midterm. People are saying the unpopularity of the war, the ICE activity they believe that's gonna turn Hispanics against Trump. They believe that the unpopularity of the war is gonna turn independents against Trump and the Republicans. And obviously, the woke radical leftists, they're already going against Trump, period. But did you know that if Trump got like 60 to 70% of the black vote in the midterms, that would secure victory, and Republicans will win by a landslide. Now, I'm not saying just go throw your vote at the Republican Party. That's not what I'm saying. I know that's what you want to hear, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, instead of worrying about what's going on in Iran and sitting up trying to cry and bellyache for a group of people who we wouldn't even miss a day of work for, why aren't we reaching out to Washington, attempting to sell our midterm vote in exchange for something for ourselves or in exchange for something for our children? That's my question. You black just like me. So I know if I have things that I would like to see happen, if I have things I want to see happen in our community, I know that you have things that you would like to see happen in our community. Why aren't we at the table right now doing what the Jewish people did, doing what the Indian people did, doing what the Latino people did, doing what the white folks did? Why aren't we at the table right now negotiating with our president and Republicans, seeing exactly what they're willing to offer us in exchange for our vote? I bet you, the way Trump wants to keep the House and the Senate, the way bro want to keep that majority in Congress, I bet you Trump would be talking about some reparations right now if we went as a block together and said, hey, give us a little something, give us a little step in the right direction for reparations, give us a little motion on reparations, right? And we'll give you our vote for the midterm. We promise you 90% of the black vote in the midterm. But before we give it to you, you got to put something right now in writing. We got to make a back alley deal saying that you will throw some money behind the reparations movement to get us a little closer. Trump already started the Trump accounts. Remember that? Do y'all remember the Trump account? Listen to me, baby. Listen to me. See, my mind, I got these ideas, right? And I don't be talking to y'all about them because y'all don't ever want to think. Y'all just want to give y'all vote to Democrat. And if I don't talk about that, y'all get mad at me. I'm surrounded by liberals. I live in California. The lady upstairs hates me. She hates this show. She calls the landlord every time. He's talking about Republican shit. Whatever, right? But I'm still going to do it. Listen, think about this. Trump already started the Trump accounts. I don't know if you went and registered for the Trump account for your kid, but you should, because not only is the government going to put some seed money in there, $1,000, private companies have already promised and committed to putting money in those Trump accounts for the kids who have a Trump account. So if your kid who doesn't have a Trump account, go register for your Trump account. They're missing money that will be automatically invested into the stock market. It'll follow. It'll track the S&P 500 and different index funds that are year in and year out successful, building wealth for your child from the get-go, right? You could go to Trump right now and say, look, if you put $20,000 in every African-American child's Trump account, which by the time they 18, that's going to be some millions, we will give you 60 or 70% of the black vote. You don't say that on TV, right? Because if you notice, when the other groups go argue and get what they get, you don't never hear the news reporting about it because they keep that on the hush hush. But you get the president to make up some way where African Americans can get a little bit more money put on a Trump account in their kids' Trump account in exchange for your vote. Do you think he would say no to that right now? He needs you. He needs as much help as he can get. But instead, what you're going to do, you're going to give your vote to the Democrat Party, and they're going to say, yes, we got the House. We got the Senate. And the minute they do, they're going to stop funding for ICE and DHS. They're going to try to overturn any roadblocks to immigration that Trump has put there. And you're going to sit and watch as the group that you voted for betrays you and opens the borders back up and allows illegal immigrants to flood into this country, totally wiping out your vote. I'm telling you, the Democrats know exactly what they want to do. When they get power, bro, and say Trump or say the Republicans don't win the next election, the Democrats are going to eliminate the filibuster. They're going to open up the borders like Joe Biden did. Remember, Joe Biden opened the borders. Like, this is not something where you could say they would never do that. They did it. Joe Biden opened the borders, allowed 20 million illegal immigrants to come in, and not a single Democrat politician said anything about it. No, not Jasmine Crockett, not Al Green. No black Democrat took the time to say, wait a minute, y'all. Unprecedented, unbridled illegal immigration disproportionately impacts African Americans in a negative way. None of them said that. Even though the person who conducted the study that proved that was a black president by the name of Barack Obama in 2010. Barack Obama did that study. He did the study that said that illegal immigration has a disproportionately negative impact on black America because they come into the country and they compete with blacks for unskilled labor jobs. We know that. Why all of a sudden you have black Americans just 20 years later voting, not even 20 years later, voting for the Democrats who are like, you know what we need to do? We need to let 20 million illegal immigrants into the country. They know that that directly hurts you. They know that. In my opinion, they are systematically eliminating black people from the Democrat Party and replacing them with Hispanics. Every time you see a Democrat lose their seat, it is a black Democrat. Every time. Look at Jamal Bowman. Look at Nina Turner. Look at Fani Willis. Look at Cori Bush. Look at Jasmine Crockett. And who put Jasmine Crockett out of her seat? I'll wait. Look at this. Look. I want you to see. Look what this woman says. And it's a black woman. What a loser. Immigration does not hurt educated black people. Shut up. Is that what I said? I thought I said that Barack Obama's 2010 study showed that illegal immigration hurts black people who work in unskilled labor jobs, which is, guess what? The majority of black people. But because black people are so individualistic, all this woman is worried about is, well, it doesn't hurt black people with education. But it does. It does. See, that's what the mayor of Long Beach thought. He thinks. He's over here. He's a black dude. His name's Rex Richardson. He's like, get ICE out. He hung a banner on City Hall. And we got a big old tall skyscraper for City Hall. He hung a big ass banner up there that was like, ICE out now, right? He doesn't realize that when he goes for re-election, the same Latinos that he's caping for, they're going to get him out of office and replace him with a Latino. They're already talking about it on Reddit. They want him gone. They want him gone. This dude said that Bad Bunny's performance at the Super Bowl was the greatest Super Bowl performance of all time. I messaged his ass, man, you need to stop capping, bro. But he's trying to coon and pander for the Hispanic community. They do have numbers, but they don't all vote. A coalition of blacks and Asians and whites could beat them any day in this city. But instead of appealing to the people who actually want ICE in the city, they want to get rid of illegal, because we got a lot of criminals over here that are illegal because they do crime here and run back to Mexico. Instead of supporting that group, right? He chooses to pander to a group that no matter what he does, they're going to replace him with a Hispanic. Period. Across the board. He's gone. But he still thinks if I just kiss their ass just enough, then it doesn't matter. And that's what black folks are doing. But the comment of this lovely black queen here, I think it proves my point. I said unskilled labor jobs where most black folks work, right? Most black folks working at the bank, black folks working at the grocery store, black folks working at the car wash or whatever. There's a lot of low unskilled labor jobs. If you are a caregiver working with a mentally disabled person, you know what I'm saying? They even coming through for the CNA jobs, right? In California. But all she could think about was, well, it doesn't hurt me, so I don't care. So what she'll do is she'll continue to vote Democrat because it doesn't hurt, in her mind, it doesn't hurt her. But it eventually will hurt her. Because we know what these people do when they get in positions of authority. Even if it is on a professional level, we already know that. So this is not even something that needs to be debated. But this is our thinking. I give a strategy, right? The strategy is immediately dismissed so that they can continue to keep doing what they want to do, which is actually a self-destructive process. It will affect you because all those Latinos who had kids back in the day, those kids are older now. They doctors, lawyers, and everything else. And they're politicians. They're running for office now. So you think they're going to get in there and not do nothing to help theirs? Go look at Chicago. Latinos are literally taking Chicago from black people. Why? Because the Latinos on the city council, right? They are literally voting in favor of policies that give Chicagoans taxpayer dollars to illegal immigrants. There's an area in Chicago called Little Village. While my cousin and them in Chicago sitting up talking about we Hebrew Israelites and bullshit like that, those Little Village Hispanics are literally telling the city of Chicago, send the illegal immigrants into our community. We want them here, send them here. And that's what they're doing. And they defend them and hide them from ICE and let them work under the table and all that stuff. Well, I know that because that's California's Chicago on steroids. Go try to get a warehouse job in Chicago. Go try to get a warehouse job in Chicago. See how that work out for you. I'm not lying. You think I'm lying, but I'm not. I promise you. You may live in a place where right now it's a good amount of blacks, right? But I promise you, give it a couple years. And that same woman who's like, well, it doesn't hurt skilled black labor or black educated people, it will. Because that's what black educated people in California said until it started affecting them. And then they had to go move to Mississippi and shit. Somebody said 200 years later, black people still at the back of the line. That's fucked up. It's not. Black people had a 100,000 year head start on every other group on earth because we was here first. But we didn't do nothing with it. All we did was fought each other and moved. My brother, right? Hey, dude. You work in aerospace, right?
Why, what's up?
Do illegal immigrants work in aerospace? Do they get aerospace jobs? Do they get them jobs over black people in aerospace?
Yeah, they were getting that until recently.
Right. So my brother works in aerospace. In California, they were giving illegal immigrants jobs in aerospace over blacks. Am I wrong? Am I making that up?
No, you're not making that up.
What was they hiring first? 10 black people, 10 Mexicans. Who was they going to hire?
They're gonna hire probably like 8 of the Mexicans and maybe one of the blacks, if not somebody else.
And then a white boy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so would you say that being a person in a high, this is a skilled labor, this is skilled job, would you say that blacks are disenfranchised by illegal immigrants when they compete in the workforce?
Almost definitely.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, but we got Miss Thang over here. Nah, that's only uneducated. Baby, listen. Come to California. I take you out, buy your fat ass a steak. It's not the case. Whenever they get authority, they hire their own. Only until, he said, until recently, because when Trump started sending ICE around, they got too scared to hire them because they didn't want to get raided. So now, bro, you know, in his job, he got like 10 different job offers. You know what I'm saying? And he works with those aerospace, like SpaceX and all. That's what he does for a living. Different aerospace companies. Bro, I tell you, bro, I'm at an orientation, bro. Or I'm at a hiring thing. And it's illegal immigrants. They about to trust them with shit that's so sensitive. This is like missile stuff. Stuff you work with where you can build a rocket. They about to trust a dude from El Salvador. Don't nobody even know this dude. But they're going to train him how to do the job and give it to him over a black person. He don't even know English. You bro, you go to some of these jobs, bro, they will be in there with Google Translate talking to people that they've hired over blacks who they could just say, hey, John, go take that box and put it over there. They will talk to Pedro on Google Translate, bro, and pay him the same amount they paying you. If I'm lying, I'm flying. I just call my own peoples to prove it. But this is what we don't work like a unit. We don't go to nobody and say, well, this is what we want. And then we complain. We don't tell nobody what we want, but then we complain about everything that we ain't got. How you complaining about what you ain't got when don't nobody even know what you want? But the problem is, there is something that we want. There's something that we want more than anything. And that something is acceptance of other groups. We value that over anything. I used to work in the grocery industry. There's a lot of Hispanics there. Black folks will sell out another black person, talk shit on you, report you to the management. Then they go using the 2 or 3 Spanish words that they learned from the Hispanics, trying to get in good. Oh, Maria brought some tacos. Like, what the fuck? You kissing ass for some shit you could have bought for yourself for $1 on the corner? But that's what we do. That's what we do, man. That's what we do. Now the next thing, because that was a long one, we do this thing where we emotionalize. We have emotional moralizing of geopolitics. That's what we're doing right now with the Iran situation. We're placing emotion in a situation where there should be no emotion placed. We encourage America to do what we do in our community. We want America to make political decisions based on how things feel or whether or not things pass the vibe check. Who's nicer, right? Oh, who's on the right side of history? Instead of just cold, hard, strategic interest. Every decision politically should be made based on strategic interest. Hey, look, Iran's blocking the Strait of Hormuz. Black people, well, why are they blocking that? Don't matter. We going to drop a bomb on their ass. They blocking it. We need it unblocked. 1 + 1 is 2. That's it. We going to give them 48 hours to unblock it, or we coming over there to put belt to ass. Black folks want to talk about the struggle of the Native Americans and how many black hostages they released 45 years ago. That's you will never get anywhere politically with that type of thinking. Jewish folks be like, man, the Holocaust, right? But if Germany was like, yo, we gonna send you a couple aircraft carriers to the Strait of Hormuz right now and a couple of fighter jets, Israel gonna be like, bet. They ain't talking about Hitler or the Nazis. They like, Germany sending what? So we can do what? Bet. Send it. Run it. Run it. Oh, 100% check it. They don't care about me or you. They don't just feel. See, check it. You got to take feel out of your sentence. You got to take feel out of your sentence. Fuck feelings. They feel slavery. No. Slavery was in their strategic interest. Getting somebody to work for free versus having to pay somebody, that is in your strategic interest. If you had a slave right now where you could go send him to work a job and make money, and when he... Who's that? Who is that? Thank you for just opening the damn door. Who is that? Oh, well, yeah, handle it. But yeah, so it ain't about Phil, bro. It's about they did what was in their strategic interest. So now we got to figure out what's in our strategic interest. We got problems at home, black folks, but we over here talking about Iran. We got our kids getting slaughtered in the streets of Chicago and every major city across America. But we over here worried about some people getting slaughtered in Iran. Bro, you got your own war that you fighting at home amongst yourselves to worry about. But I'm the one who doesn't get it. It ain't about Phil. It's about real. What's really happening? We all get it. We all know these things. I'm not telling you something that's new. You know this stuff. All the other stuff is just how you distract yourself from the problems in your own community. You can feel good if you pretend to get on the internet, if you get on the internet and pretend to care about Iran. Well, at least I did the morally right thing. What? That's BS. We do the same thing with the Epstein files. We all over the Epstein files. Epstein, most of y'all got a creepy uncle or cousin in y'all family touching the kids, won't say nothing. But somehow you about to prosecute Epstein from the grave. I remember when Kamala Harris was running for president. She got up there on that stage and said, I was a prosecutor, and I'm a prosecute Donald Trump. And then black women jumped up and started clapping like trained seals. And I said, she's going to prosecute Donald Trump as... So the woman who says she would never do anything specifically for black folks, what she's going to do instead is spend her time trying to prosecute Donald Trump from the presidency, which, what the hell? But she ain't going to do shit for black folks. And black folks are cheering that, right? We're cheering that. I'll give you an example. You're supporting foreign aid packages for other countries or supporting illegal immigrants and money for them and policies for them based on this humanitarian. You're a humanitarian now. You feel bad for them. Well, they need help. They're coming over here for a better life. You're going to make their life better than your life is right now in America. You're going to make their life better than than your kids' lives are right here in America. But what you're going to do is what you've always done. You're going to do what you did during civil rights. You're going to fight for something, hand it to other groups, and they're going to benefit from it more than you do. And then 60, 70 years later, you're going to have buyer's remorse, and you're going to start complaining. And you're gonna say, you know what? Instead of this feel-good bullshit that we march for, I want some money. Because at the end of the day, the money is the only thing that's gonna matter. That is literally, that is the epitome. That is the entire basis for the resurgence of the reparation movement. If you notice, when you look at like the FBA conference, the ADOS conference, everybody sitting at those conferences had gray in their hair. They had gray in their beard and their face was old with wrinkles, right? Why? Because that was the last generation of civil rights. Those were the people who were teenagers or children during the civil rights movement. Those were the people whose parents was telling them, yeah, if we follow Dr. King, we going to be able to get this, that, and the third. But then they handed over reparations to the white man. They gave it to the white woman. They gave it to the Latino. They gave it to the Mexican. I mean, to the Asian and everybody else. And they benefited from it more than you did. So 60 years later, after they didn't work their job, broke their back, and got old, they looking at it like, damn, you know what? That reparations shit really didn't do nothing for us. I mean, that civil rights stuff didn't even do nothing for us. I need me some money. Because now that I'm old, I know what I want to do with the money. I know that money talks and bullshit walk. But when they were young and they were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, all the symbolism, it meant something to them. It gave them a fuzzy feeling on the inside. Ooh, and they bought into it. They bought into it, right? The last thing we struggle with is we got this savior complex. We're waiting for a single person, some charismatic leader, or a specific government program to save our community, instead of practicing self-reliance in a local way, right? We perfect example. We cheered for Jasmine Crockett. She's a fighter. Girl, I heard these heifers. They was all up in the nail shop. Oh, girl, yeah, Jasmine Crockett, she a fighter. She gonna go to the Washington. She gonna fight Trump. Black women more worried about who gonna fight Trump than who gonna go in there and offer them something strategic or work with them on their strategic proposal to gain things that will directly benefit the black community. We worried about fighting Trump. If you want to know what black people are voting for or what they're fighting for, listen to what the politicians that they vote for say. Because politicians are populist at their core. What they talk about when they get on stage are things that the people they think that are the things that people they think will vote for them have said that they want. If you got a black politician on stage and everything they talking about only benefit Latinos and white folks, right? Like you got black politicians right now, they're talking about they don't want no ID at the voting booth. They talking about they want ICE out the city. Well, you black, you American, you got an ID, you a citizen. If a politician is talking about getting ICE out the city, that politician is not benefiting you in any way at all. They're telling you through their words, hey man, I'm focused on the Latinos right now. I'm focused on the Somalis right now. Whatever you want got to go on the back burner. And this is the truth. Black Democrats have wasted almost a year and a half, right? Putting whatever they want or whatever is on the black agenda on the back burner to fight for the illegal immigrants that are going to replace them to stay in the country. Let's be real about that. They are putting what they want, their agenda, on the back burner at the request of Democrats to prioritize the agenda of illegal immigrants who can't even vote yet, but if the Democrats have their way, will replace the black vote in its entirety. If they get citizenship, your vote is gone. Your vote means that it's already been significantly weakened. It's very powerful if you spread it around, right? Like give it to the Republicans one time and give it to the Democrats another time and really use it to negotiate for leverage for what you want. If you use it like that, it's powerful. It's still strong. But in the monolithic I mean, not in the monolithic. Yeah, monolithic. In the monolithic way that you're using it right now, it's extremely weak. Any group could come in and wipe it out. Even if the black vote were to split in half, 50-50, like the Latino vote and the white vote, it would be more powerful than the black vote alone going 90% for Democrats. I just need you guys to understand that. Yeah. You that clown that was on Adam 22, aren't you? The fake karate expert. See? I'm telling y'all, we not focused. But that's one thing I learned by being at No Jumper. Black folks be like on some stupid shit. Black folk will get on a dude will get on a political stream and be like, yeah, argue you down, right? About some political stuff. The next 50 things that dude watches on YouTube, right? The next 50 things that dude watches on YouTube will be like nonsense, like uh reality TV or hip hop shit. When it comes to politics, we just visit. We don't stay. We just visit. We pop our head in what they talking about. Oh, this boring, and then we keep it moving. We keep it moving. But that's what we do. Because in our mind, nothing affects us. Nothing affects us. Period. We're literally just like, oh, that ain't got nothing to do with me. But then when the results come, we're crying. We're belly aching. That's how black people got pushed out of California. As the Hispanics flooded in, black people kept saying, bro, I remember like yesterday, black men just kept saying, oh, we gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. Right? We gonna be all right. That's all we say. And then when we're not all right, you know what we do? We move to Texas. We move to Georgia and then work to make Texas and Georgia look like California, the state we got pushed out of. Juggernaut 44 said, you know you continue to sound like Tariq Nasheed every episode, right, Brandon? Me talking about how Hispanic immigrants disenfranchise black unskilled labor in America is sounding like Tariq Nasheed. This is us. We don't listen. We don't listen with our ears. We listen with our feelings. What I actually said, don't mean nothing to this dude. What I actually said don't mean nothing to this dude. Only thing he care about is what he wants me to have said. I'm sounding like Tariq. No, I don't sound like Tariq. Tariq could be cracking jokes, making fun of you, and then let a couple of African actors get up to talk shit to you and crack jokes on you, and then he leaves and goes and does his thing. No, I've given you strategy. You know what? I've done something I don't see any black political commentator do. I literally gave you a strategy that could work if you implemented it. I've given you a solution if you dare to implement it. But being dismissive. Juggernaut 44 would rather dismiss what I'm saying as Tariq Nasheed talking points than actually think about what I'm saying. I mean, I have no power, or control over that. I really can't, you gonna believe what you're gonna believe. But I promise you, the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing, but expecting a different result. And that's where black folks is. We doing the same damn thing, steady screaming, crying, and complaining about the results. And like my granny used to tell me, it's going to tell on you before you tell on it, man. It's going to tell on you before you tell on it. And it's telling on us. Why do you have black people who are prominent in the political space? Roland Martin, Simone Sanders. Why do you have them fighting tooth and nail to keep illegal immigrants, or to keep people from having to show ID in the country before they vote? I mean, I'm being real with you. Why do you have black Democrats who know that illegal immigration and the Latino vote is slowly but surely making the black vote powerless? Why do you have these people fighting to keep people from having to show ID when they go to the voter booth? It doesn't make any sense. And do you see black people writing letters or making phone calls to the black politicians saying, wait a minute. You know that illegals voting in elections, it disenfranchises black people the most, right? Why are you voting so that people don't have to show ID when they go vote? Why are you voting for open borders? Why are you supporting policies that make it easy for illegal immigrants to come in this country? Do you see black people doing that? No. You know why? Because black folks gonna be all right. But we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna be okay. Our people been saying that for like 60 years, and we ain't been okay since. So I don't know, where we get that from. Oh, we gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. Nah, man, those days are over. We got the internet now. You can watch. You can literally pick up your phone and watch yourself gradually lose power day by day. You can watch yourself gradually lose power day by day looking on the internet. I promise you. I promise you. But I want to play this clip of Simone Sanders talking about how the Democrats fell into a trap by saying that they agree that there needs to be voter ID. A black woman is saying requiring voter ID or saying you want voter ID for someone to vote in this country is a trap. Make that make sense.
Interesting.
I have been warning about this for weeks, and now here we are. In trying to oppose the SAVE Act, Democrats have actually backed themselves into a corner, and now we're potentially staring down a vote on a national voter ID bill. Let me ask a very simple question. Since when is the Democratic Party for voter ID? Because let's be very clear about what is actually happening. The Save America Act is not about voter ID. It is about requiring proof of citizenship, talking passports, birth certificates. Some of these are papers that millions of eligible Americans do not have access to. Oh, and if you are...
You telling me that there's a black person on earth, you're telling me that there's a black person on earth who doesn't have a birth certificate or a social security number or ID? It's a lie. We get pulled over more disproportionately, not more than anybody, but if you do it per capita, we get pulled over by the cops more than anybody. So we got our identification on us. We got the registration and everything else. So who is Simone talking about?
Married woman who has changed your last name? Well, good luck. This is a completely different standard. But instead of forcing that distinction, instead of solely having that conversation, the conversation has now collapsed into, do you support voter ID or not? And that, folks, is a trap. Because the argument for voter ID is actually built on a premise that does not hold up. People are not showing up to the polls pretending to be someone else in droves. That's actually not a widespread problem. We already verify identity in multiple ways throughout the country. Signature matching, right? Flawed, but a way to verify. Voter files, database checks. I mean, in everyday life, you can move money, verify who you are, without pulling out a physical ID.
Yeah, but you can't open up that bank without an ID, right?
Every day, you could move money without presenting an ID. Yeah, because you move money on your phone. But in order to get in that damn app, you're going to have to have your phone with a fingerprint, or you're going to have to go into the bank so you can set that mobile bank account up. This woman just lies. Every day you can move money without an ID. You can't move money from one bank to another one physically without no ID. You can move money between accounts that have been where you have been verified as the account holder. These people want you to do, they don't want you to have to do something to vote in this country that you got to do just to open a bank account in America.
Go to open up that bank account without an ID, right? Yeah, you can transfer money without an ID, but they've already verified through seeing your ID that you are the person who has opened up the account, right? So it's harder to open a bank account than it is to vote in some parts of the country. That's the problem. And what Simone Sanders is failing to mention here, which is that in these blue states, they don't go through any of the election integrity procedures that she's outlining that states already do in order to verify identity. They don't do that. Democrats don't clean their voter rolls. Why? Because you shouldn't vote to vote, right? Prove any, don't even you are, then yeah, illegal.
That's
It's not voter.
Talking about.
I don't think that. I clearly have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of questions. We had Senator Jackie Rosen of Nevada on our show Thursday night, and we pressed her about it. I asked her all of the things I just said to you here, and this is what she had to say. Schumer is saying that Democrats would vote for a national voter ID bill, and now at least there's one Republican senator that is talking about bringing it to the floor under unanimous consent. Signature, I don't think the question on the table isn't whether people want to verify who they are when they go to vote. A voter ID is about the fact that Republicans are saying that people are going to vote as other people who they aren't. That's not an issue in America, so why would Democrats support that?
You know, I'm not sure what Leader Schumer was talking about, but I can tell you this. I guess we better have a conversation.
Seems like Democrats need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what you got. You got the black woman. She's like, nah, yeah, we shouldn't want election integrity. It doesn't matter if the election, people voting without voter ID eliminates or cancels out the black vote. Yeah, it does. Especially in blue states, right? Especially in blue states where they don't check the rolls. Blacks lost voting power in California faster than any other state. And it wasn't because black people just kept moving, because there's a huge number of black people in California still. Black people got damn near as much. I think it's more black people in California than it is in the DMV. Like, I believe that. The DMV is considered the black Mecca. It's more black people in Cali than the DMV, but we lost our voting power. Why? One, because we let them make all the districts blue. Two, because dead folks, illegal immigrants, everything else were being allowed to vote to cancel out the black vote. And if you don't enforce the law has no meaning. So if you live in a state where they say, well, there is no voter fraud. You go to a city, I'll give you an example before we move on to our next stuff. You go to a city, right? And let's say you voting for mayor. You got 5,000 black people. You got 5,000 Mexicans, right? 5,000 documented Hispanics. The black people have been in the city longer, so they have a more established voting base. You know who's going to vote. The same people have been voting for decades, all that stuff. Well, out of the 5,000 black people, about 1,000 black people vote in the elections. Out of the 5,000 Hispanics, maybe about, let's say, 800 Hispanics vote in the election. Okay, based on the voter rolls, how many people roughly vote in every election. But you got 5,000 documented Hispanics. But you got 3,000 undocumented Hispanics, right? They don't vote usually, and they're not on the rolls because they are not registered. They're illegal immigrants, so they're not documented. How easy is it to go to a Hispanic who ain't even going to vote and just say, hey, man, look, I know you don't vote, whatever, but we got somebody who will vote in your place. Is that cool? And they say, yeah, that's fine. I'm not tripping. Or in California, what makes it easier, when you go to vote in California, the only thing you got to give is an address. That's it. You go to the voter booth. They say, hey, what's your address? You tell them your address. They are go vote, right? That's what happens. If Pedro Martinez at 335 Eucalyptus Avenue never go vote, they could get a Hispanic guy named Juan Carlos to go to the voter booth and say, hey, I'm Pedro Martinez. I live at 355 Eucalyptus Avenue. They're going to say, all right, go vote, Pedro Martinez. And then he goes and votes in place of Pedro Martinez. No one would know. He gave the address. Pedro Martinez ain't going to be like, man, why does it say here I voted and I never voted? See, Pedro Martinez registered because he had to register at the DMV to get his driver's license. But when it comes to who's actually casting his vote, you go to a Latino community run by nothing but Latino pollsters who watch the polls, and those Latinos, based on who they want to get elected or based on who they want to, who they want to put in office, they will literally go get people to come vote for people because they might know all the people. And if the black people got 800, if the Latinos vote at a clip of 800 and the blacks vote at a clip of 1,000, it is so easy to make up for those 200 votes and get 15 more votes or 20 more votes to beat out the black vote. Happens all the time. All those cities up there going towards LA, Cudahy, Bell, all those little cities, they're straight Mexican, Hispanic cities. How do you think they took over those cities? These type of voter practices. And who's going to enforce the law when the politicians in California are swearing up and down this never happens? If they investigate it, they'll never investigate it because they know if they find anything, it's going to prove what people been saying all along, and that's going to trigger a federal investigation. So we don't investigate it, so we don't ever have to acknowledge it. And we weaponize it against other communities to take over. I'm telling you, this is what they do. I've seen it. I've seen it. And then I don't know if y'all saw the situation where they was paying people this has been exposed. I don't know if y'all saw this, but this has been exposed.
A lot of questions, especially when you see videos like that, when you see how easy it is to register to vote.
You think I'm making
right?
this? You think I'm making this
How
up?
easy is it?
You think I'm making this up? I'm not making this up. Look, they literally go. We're in LA, paying people.
It appears to show paid signature collectors in San Francisco offering money to people on the streets if they sign the petitions using other people's voter registration information. This would be a violation of state law. KCRA 3's political director Ashley Zavala is here now. So let's start with who's involved.
Yeah, well, this video is raising a lot of flags for folks tonight. These signature gatherers are people who are paid to find registered voters and get those voters to sign petitions. And when they get enough signatures, the proposal lands on the ballot and is presented to you, the voter. It is against the law for anyone to forge someone else's information, but the man who captured the scene on video tells us that's exactly what has been happening in San Francisco.
I get $5 too?
Yeah.
And what is it?
Just sign it.
Just sign it?
Yeah. You ready now? First name is gonna be.
Just sign it. We don't need to tell you what it is. Just sign it. Right? Again, I'm telling you, man.
People $5 to sign ballot initiative petitions using other people's names and information. Smith shot and posted this video on Monday.
What I seen shocked me and surprised me because they was literally coaching people, telling them what name to sign and what address to put down there. And what was more shocking than that is they had that information printed out already on an official document.
We've learned the signature collectors in Smith's video were doing so for ballot initiatives backed by billionaires fighting a proposed wealth tax. The measures include proposals to invalidate the tax, require audits, and other tax transparency tools. The campaigns for that are known as Building a Better California and Californians for a More Transparent and Effective Government. Another petition was for a separate campaign for a proposed Retirement and Personal Savings Protection Act. All three campaigns acknowledged their petitions were being carried by these signature gatherers. Today, I spoke with representatives for each campaign. All said they were made aware of the video. They're demanding the firm identify these circulators seen in the video and reject their petitions.
Right. So that's it. That's all that's going to happen. These women should be in prison. What they're doing is highly illegal, felonious. They just need to fire those people and reject the petition. Yeah. So when you say, "Oh, this isn't happening," understand it's happening because these people know that the laws are never going to get enforced. So they take a chance. It's like they say, it's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't have any big, like end moment or anything like that. We know what's going on. Black folks gonna keep complaining, keep dismissing people like me. He don't know what he's talking about. He a coon. Like, nah, maybe I'm just thinking about it deeper than you because I'm seeing it in real time. Hey, shout out to everybody who contributed to the stream. We're almost at our goal. We have a goal of $5 super chats. If you are in a position to do so, if you do not have the super chat feature available to you, at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen of the chat bar, there's also Cash App available and PayPal available. The links are pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to Testory. Thank you so much for the $5 holler. Love your channel. Keep giving great content. Bless your loved ones, and respect will always support your channel. Thank you so much, and I will always, well, for as long as I'm alive, I will come and give you guys straight truth and facts delivered in a way that you can ingest. We dig a little deeper on this channel. That's the goal. Stacy Magruder, thank you. Why are people saying you got slapped? I have no clue. I never got slapped by anybody, but all right. I don't know. People say all types of things. We just doing the work. Support for my white brother. Amen. What the hell? Wild stuff. So we got one of the $5 super chats down. We need 4 more. And if you guys feel like helping me reach that goal, I appreciate it. And we're going to keep going because I got some more content that I want to cover. So stay along for the ride. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember this, but because the Democrats refuse to fund the Department of Homeland Security, which is causing TSA agents, the people who keep us safe when we go through the airport, is causing TSA agents to not be paid for their work. President Donald Trump promised that if the Democrats did not agree to fund DHS, he would send ICE agents to airports to assist TSA work agents with their job of like screening people as they pass through airport security to get on planes. Well, apparently they thought Trump was joking or something, because now TSA, this was a few days ago. This was about 3 days ago. He said this. And now on Monday, March 23rd, TSA is in airports all across America, and it's not pretty what's happening. They are already arresting folks. People are crying, screaming that this and that is illegal. And like, I don't understand why the Democrats just didn't comply. Why don't they just fund the Department of Homeland Security so it doesn't have to come to this? But I guess, they have their reasons. Now, a lot of people might think that scenes like this help the Democrats. But in my opinion, scenes like this just hurt the Democrats, because it makes it very clear that they are willing to create volatile, potentially violent situations that harm the American people or even illegal immigrants, all in an effort to play politics with a bill, or with a bill that 85% of Americans actually support across all political lines.
Show the badge. Where's the badge? Where's your badge?
Can someone call 911? Where's your badge? Can I see? Let me see your badge.
Okay.
No, can I see your badge? I don't know if that's legitimate.
Can I see your badge? But then if he shows the badge, he says, they say, I don't know if that's legitimate. This is illegal. This is illegal. So the arrest is illegal, but the illegal alien who came across the border illegally is not illegal? Make that make sense, guys. You know, y'all know that don't make no damn sense.
You see your badge number, sir? What is your name? What is your name? Where's your badge number? I'm asking for your badge number, sir. What is your badge number? What is your badge number? We need to see your badge number. Show your badge number. This is an illegal arrest. Show the badge number.
It's okay. We'll wait.
I need to see your badge
Step
number.
back. Step back.
I don't know who you are. You could be someone kidnapping her.
We should call the police. Call the police. When the pound comes straight to life, it's gonna swing back fucking hard. Before you go.
This is the face of America. Congratulations. I hope you feel great at night.
I love the fact that he says, this is the face of America. It's a bunch of Hispanics in San Francisco mad at a bunch of Hispanic ICE agents who are deporting a Hispanic woman. This is the face of America. We know it's not racism because they all Hispanics. But it's illegal to arrest someone who's coming to the country illegally, and now they're getting deported. I bet you I know one thing. I bet you not a single one of those Hispanic people missed their flight so that they could go fight for that illegal immigrant lady who was getting arrested. It's all theatrics. And if you have a problem with it, blame the Democrats. The Democrats are the ones who won't fund TSA. So now Trump is using ICE, which is a government agency that is actually funded to go in and help them do security. And in the course of them helping with security, if they see somebody illegal, they have the authority to arrest. I appreciate those people for not trying to intervene in a violent manner like the white folks was doing in Minnesota. But I believe Hispanics know that they don't enjoy the same level of privilege as straight out white people. My whole point is this. You can't do what this woman did in Mexico, but it's expected to fly in America. I don't understand why our country is the bad guy for enforcing the laws of the land. It just makes no sense to me. But for some reason, these Hispanic people know good and well they can't do this crap in Mexico or any of those South American countries, but they expect for it to be allowed in America.
What's your name? Can show the badge. Where's the badge?
So, yeah, they want you to show the badge. What's your name? Da-da-da. They want ICE agents to show the badge, but they don't want to be required to have ID when they go vote. And then I see somebody in the comments like, oh, yeah, pretty soon they're not going to have to wear masks. Bro, are you out of your mind? You know how many people are doxing people, going to people's house, trying to kill people? ICE agents should definitely be allowed to wear masks because it's a matter of their safety. They're simply doing their job. Chili Willie said, MAGA hates black people. So what is your purpose? I don't hate black people. My purpose is to preserve America for my children so that they can have a country to go to. And I'm sure there are many Hispanic people who feel the same exact way. Why would you let someone overrun your country just because they feel like coming over here to work or whatever? And I've said this many, many times, and a lot of people don't listen to me when I say this, But let's say you want to let these people come to our country, whenever they want to. Okay, I'm cool with it, but can I go to their country whenever I want to with no visa, no papers, no nothing, and go work and participate in their economy? Can I do that? Can I go down to Honduras and say, you know what, I just feel like getting a damn job and living out here permanently? You can't, bro. I don't know if you guys have ever traveled, but you can't just go to another country and stay there with no visa or no ID or nothing. They will get you and put you in jail, and then they'll deport you. So why is it okay here? Why is it okay here? It doesn't make sense. Please don't spam my comments. Okay, asshole, when they start grabbing Puerto Ricans, file a damn lawsuit. I'm not Puerto Rican. I'm black. Me no Boricua. Me black. Motherfucker, you are less than 30%. All right, man. I don't know what the hell you talking about, but I love having you. I ain't gonna lie. I love having you here. I appreciate you being here, honestly. Thank you. Thank you for stopping in. But yeah, every country has the right to their sovereignty. They have a right to enforce their borders. The American people voted for Donald Trump to remove illegal immigrants, and that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Linkages on Niji land. Okay, that's what's happening. So she was crying. It's very unfortunate. I do feel bad for her a little bit because nobody wants to be just going on a flight somewhere and then they're randomly snatched up. But she knows her legal status. That's the crazy part. She knows her legal status in this country, and she still chose to roll through the airport. I'm sorry, but if I was illegal, my ass would just drive. Right, G Money? We gonna let ICE do their job, and we're not gonna interfere. We listen and we don't judge. Remember that? We listen, but we don't judge. I like that. I think that's what that should be the new motto for when you see ICE handling their business. We listen to them say, stay back, and we don't judge. I love that it was like an all Hispanic situation there too, because they can't throw out the race card. I think there might have been one Asian in there, and I'm black, and if it was a black person, I would have told them, let me slap the damn cuffs on them, boss, because everyone has to follow the law. That's why we have the nation that everybody wants to come to, because it's a nation of laws. It's a nation that is run by a legitimate, democratically elected government, unlike the nations where a lot of these people come from, where the nation is run by thugs and criminals and drug cartel members. And I would like to keep it that way. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. Guys, please don't forget, we do have the $5 challenge. We are almost there. We have 2 contributions of $5 so far, and we need 3 more to hit our goal. I appreciate you. Thank you in advance for contributing. And we have another topic that we're going to talk about. I think I might start doing it this way from now on because it's just so much more convenient. So recently,
I know they had
Trump and several military generals met with families of soldiers that were tragically killed in the USA-Israel-Iran conflict. And there's a soldier who died by the name of Tyler Simmons. His father attended the event and got a chance to meet with and talk with President Trump. And his experience of dealing with President Trump is very surprising to many, many people, because he didn't, when asked by interviewers what the event was like and what his meeting with Trump was like, he did not express any anger or hatred towards Donald Trump. Instead, he expressed great patriotism and respect for the country, even at a time when you know his heart has to be absolutely reeling. Let's see what he had to say.
No media there, which was the family's wish and stuff. But the president was there and the defense secretary was there. And I thought I heard you say you were all the families were in their own
separate
area.
And there were also a myriad of generals, lieutenant colonels, high-ranking officials, senators, congressmen. I can't remember all their names.
So when the president and the defense secretary came up to you, what did you talk about? I mean,
I was the first person, right out the bat, looked President Trump in the eye and told him who I was. He said, "Yes, Mr. Simmons, I know who you are." I said, "Tyler Simmons was my only son. He paid the ultimate price." And much to my pleasant surprise, I saw emotion in the president's face. Because usually when you see him on television, he's just being the stern leader. I get that. But his humanity showed in that moment. He said, "I can respect the man that can look the president in the face and tell him exactly what he thinks." I think it's one of the few times that he had to look up. Because actually President Trump is taller than I thought. Just expressed his condolences and thankful for Tyler's service, because that's all I wanted the focus to be, was Tyler. And the premise of all them coming was for them to give their condolences to the family.
I know they had no media there, which was...
Man, I think that's really amazing. I think it's very tragic, but I do also think it's great that, you know, the president and the other generals were willing to meet with the parents and just let them know that their child didn't just die in vain. That, you know, the people who sent them to die do acknowledge and carry a certain weight with them in the event that these children or these young men and women are lost. The United States probably is one of the best paying militaries in the world. And they offer you extensive benefit packages, even bonuses for signing up. And you could see a world where, you know, they might have a callous approach to families who die, whose relatives die while serving their country. Hey, well, they knew the risk. Y'all gonna get a death benefit for it, so it don't matter. But they don't take that approach. They go, they shake everybody's hand. They sit down with them and talk with them for a minute. They memorize the names of these soldiers so that it's not just a callous, impersonal meeting between a politician and the parents of a fallen soldier. The bigger thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is this. We've lost so few soldiers during this Iran conflict that they can actually meet with each family one by one at a time, sit down for a while and talk with them and express their condolences and regret. That is truly amazing. Even though it comes in the shadow of such a tragic event, it's really amazing that the way the United States is able to wage war these days is a way that results in a minimal expense when it comes to casualties and American soldiers losing their lives. We pray for Tyler Simmons, you know, his family. We honor him and we give him our greatest admiration for the sacrifice he made in defending this country. And that's why it's so important when you think about conflict. You know, you might have your opinions on the situation and you're free to give your opinion and share it. But the biggest thing is we got to make sure that we're still supporting our troops. We got to make sure that we still are encouraging them and letting them know that they're not out there alone. That's one thing that really pisses me off about the way Americans do on social media. You make these people out to be like pariah or social rejects for doing their job. These people are defending your country. If it wasn't for them, any country could come over here and just take everything you got. They're putting their lives on the line every day so you and your children could sleep well at night. Your children ain't got to sleep like you over in Israel getting bombed out. Your kids ain't got to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, school's shut down because Iran is launching missiles at the place, and vice versa. Your kids ain't got to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and head to a bomb shelter because Israel is bombing the place. You live in safety. But that's because you have men and women in the armed forces who are willing to risk their life to protect you and your family. And they should always be honored, admired, and held in our highest regard, no matter how you feel about the particular operation that they've been sent on. They're not making the decisions. They're not making the rules. They're just doing the best they can with what they're given for their family and for their country. So anyone who talks down on them, it really pisses me off, and it really grinds my gears. Hey, did Chili Willie send a super chat, or is he just spamming my comments? I'm going to look and see if he sent a super chat. If not, bro, just going to be gone. But yeah, so guys, you know, just show support for the troops. Show love for the troops. Their families are dealing with a lot. A lot of these dudes have kids who depend on them. And like this guy's, like Mr. Simmons said, you know, that was his only son. His legacy is done at the end of that, unless he go start doing some pumping and have another kid. But yeah, he gave everything. He gave as much as his son gave, if not more. Because no citizen wants to outlive, no parent wants to outlive their child. That's every parent's worst nightmare. And unfortunately, he had to. But let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for that segment. I appreciate it. We have another one. We got another contribution in the Cash App. Appreciate the blessing. Doggone it. I hate when I can't get to the person. Let me see. I'm going to just call him G. Shout out to G for the $5 holler in the Cash App. Thank you, my brother, for supporting the stream. We going up today. We got a couple more. To do. I like doing it like this. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think. Do you like me doing it with the stories from Instagram? Because I have an Instagram by the same name, Defiant Brandon, and it low-key be going up. That's where I post all the stories I see every day. And if you go subscribe, you can kind of get the news. This is like my little news feed. Maybe I should start posting this on YouTube as well. But there's definitely more news there and more hard-hitting stories, some of which maybe I can't cover on YouTube, but many of which I am getting to, but sometimes haven't got around to. For example, like this story right here, where a Loyola University of Chicago freshman student, Sheridan Gorman, was fatally shot in a random provoked attack while viewing the Northern Lights with a friend near campus. Now imagine this. A female student of Loyola University Chicago is just walking with her friends. They're trying to view the Northern Lights. I guess you can see them from Chicago during this time of year. And a random bum comes up to them and shoots Sheridan. And she tragically passes away.
Back on the Sunday morning, new overnight, an arrest has been made in the death of this 18-year-old student who was shot and killed this week while just walking with her friends near her Chicago College campus. Loyola University freshman Sheridan Gorman was trying to catch a glimpse of the Northern Lights early Thursday morning. That's when a masked man just opened fire in her direction.
Toby Prince Beach Park is a popular area for Loyola University students and people who live in the Rogers Park neighborhood. You can see how many people are out here on this Saturday, and the masked gunman reportedly jumped from the brush, shooting and killing 18-year-old Sheridan Gorman right here. A memorial now in place. Her family says that she was out here with a group of friends in an area she believed to be safe, trying to catch a glimpse of the Northern Lights just 8 miles north of downtown Chicago. A neighbor telling me she heard it all.
We heard one pop, and then I was just hoping it was fireworks, and then about 20 minutes later there was some really crazy screaming going on.
Welcome back on the Sunday morning. New overnight, an arrest has been made in the death of this 18-year-old student.
Yeah, so that's pretty tragic. Just imagine you're just walking down the street with your friends. You're not thinking about violence. You're not thinking that some weirdo is going to come up and try to attack you or do violence to you. But the next thing you know, you look down and you're dead. See, this is the problem for me with Chicago. Chicago is a tragedy, man. That city is so poorly run. It is a tragedy that someone would have to deal with that in an American city. That is not America. That's not what America stands for. That's not what America is supposed to be. It makes me, as a father whose child is, currently, she's working on her volleyball stuff and she's getting some interest from colleges around the country. And I'm just like, it makes me scared. It makes me afraid to see senseless violence like that. But what makes me even more afraid is the fact that you have politicians who defend these criminals. And what's worse, they defend the way they engage with these criminals. Soft on crime policies, letting these dudes out when they should be locked up for many, many, many years so they can't hurt anybody. I was talking to a friend today, and it was just so sad talking to him because he is a person who is liberal here in California, and he works in a field where you deal with a lot of liberals, right? And I was playing with him like, man, I need to get a job. You need to give me a job. He said, nah, man, you got too much bias. You wouldn't be good working in this job. And so we start talking about crime, and we start talking about people who kill people. And he told me about some kid who killed 4 people, but he grew up in a gang. His parents were gang members. He was a gang member. And so basically his parents groomed him and taught him to kill, right? And I said, well, here's the thing. That kid, he's 15 or 16 years old. I'm like, he needs to be sitting in jail for a long time. He needs to do basically juvenile life where he won't get out until he's about 24 or 25 years. If he's 15, that'll be a 10-year sentence. He tells me, oh, man, but you don't understand. He didn't know what he was doing wrong. I said, listen, man, everyone knows that killing is wrong. It don't matter what you say. Everyone knows that killing is wrong. And if you arrest a teenager who has been trained to kill, you can't let that guy out in 6 months or let him roam free, because if you do, he's going to go straight back to the hood and he's going to continue his killing spree. It happens time and time again. And when you lock him up, you got to keep him locked up long enough so he can sit down and forget all that brainwashing and all those teachings that he learned from his parents. And if he does the hard work, he can re-educate or relearn, or he can unlearn and then relearn what it means to be a human being and operate in civilized society. But the minute you let him out, you have to understand that there's a chance that he is a grave risk to the community. And he's like, but you don't understand. That's the way he's been taught. It's not his fault. But see, what he doesn't understand, and what many liberal people don't understand, is this. They have sympathy for the criminal and everything the criminal has gone through. But they have no sympathy for the victim, the innocent, unsuspecting victim, like Sheridan Gomez, the Chicago, Loyola Chicago student, the innocent victim who wasn't doing any harm to anyone. all she was doing was walking, trying to see the northern lights with her friends before she was viciously gunned down. Her legacy, her spirit demands justice. And justice can only be served if the aggressor, her killer, spends a significant time in jail so that he can have time to think about what he did to Sheridan Gomez and others if he's potentially killed them, and really work hard to try to change his life. Life should not be easy for these people. Life should be harder for these people for the rest of their lives, not easier. I hate that this happened to Sheridan. My condolences go out to her family. Let me know what you think about this situation in the comments. But like I said before, Chicago is a tragedy. Mayor Brandon Johnson has to go. Mayor Brandon Johnson has to go. He has destroyed the economy of that city and created an environment that literally enables criminals and perpetuates their criminal behavior. Cannot live like that. That is not what America is all about. Sorry that had to happen to you, Sheridan. It's really bad. Really, really, really bad.
Who was shot and...
Okay. So we got that one. Before we go any further, I like to shout out RLF. Appreciate you, brother, for the $10 holler in the Cash App. I appreciate you so much. Hey, you guys, if you send Cash App, y'all buying dinner, because I cannot find my debit card for the life of me. So I have no money and no way to buy food. I'm literally sitting here drinking coffee to try to curb my appetite a little bit. But so may a special blessing be upon you if you hit the Cash App, because that definitely will go towards getting some din. Okay, so did you guys tell me whether or not you like the Instagram setup? Yeah, right along with you. Eyes black. Let me know if you guys like me doing this like off the Instagram. I mean, I think it's pretty cool, but maybe you guys don't like it. So I really want to know. Okay, what else do we have right here? We got that, the Black Fallen Soldier. I don't know if that's going to be enough for a story. Experience. I'm just trying to look. Excuse me. Okay, so. Oh, let's look at this. There was a situation yesterday. There were the college basketball national championships, and there's a player who plays for the University of Maryland. Her name is Oluchi Okananwa. And she had a very heated exchange with her coach on the sideline during their game, during the national championship game, the women's. And as we do, the black internet tried to blow this situation out of proportion. Oh, she's disrespecting that black queen, and really trying to create something where, honestly, I saw nothing. But I'm going to let you guys check it out, and you tell me what you think. Is this something that we should be up in arms about, or do you think this is just a part of sports, and we need to let this be settled between Oluchi and her coach, Brenda Freezes?
Understands I'm a competitor at heart, and I've told her this before, and I'll keep on telling her this until forever. I love to be coached hard, and that's what she does with me every single day. And really what that was a regroup moment for myself, and her telling me she believed in me, because sometimes that's really all you need to hear to get back out there. It's a long game, lots of ups and downs, and I feel like after that conversation, that's when I really went back out and just did what I had to do for my team in that moment. So I'm forever appreciative. Coach understands I'm a competitor at heart, and I've told her this before, and I'll keep on telling her this until forever. I love to be coached hard, and that's what she does with me every single day. And really.
So based on what Oluchi is saying, she doesn't mind it. She doesn't mind it. She thinks it's great. She loves the coach, and the coach knows the player. My problem is when you have people who are not in the inner mix of that basketball team. They don't know what the hell is going on with that coach and that player, but they have so much to say about how this lady is coaching her team. And really, I don't know why we think this helps black people who are in these positions when the black internet brigade gets all up in arms and it's like, how they gonna disrespect them like that? It really doesn't. And it's clear that we didn't learn our lesson from the tendernism situation where we acted so damn crazy about it that Walter ended up getting fired from his job over at tendernism. We didn't learn from that. We're still doing it. We're still weaponizing the internet against people who are simply just doing their job to the best of their ability. And the problem is we're weaponizing the internet with no context as to what's being said. Now I'm going to play the exchange. The exchange was, you couldn't hear it. It wasn't audible, but I see the coach mouthing to her, I believe in you. So despite what the face looked like, sometimes when you're dealing with these athletes, you got to get up in their face. But this is two women. This woman ain't no kid. She grown. And then this lady is her coach.
Oluchi Okananwa is getting attention after speaking about her relationship with head coach Brenda Fries and why moments with her mean so much. The young basketball player shared how important the support and guidance from her coach has been during her journey. Instead of focusing only on games and results, she talked about trust, respect, and the connection between a player and a coach. Oluchi Okananwa explained that moments like these are the ones that stay with athletes long after the game is over. Her words quickly connected with fans because they showed the human side of college basketball. Coach Brenda Fries has built a reputation not only for success on the court, but also for the strong relationships she builds with her players. That is one of the reasons why Oluchi Okananwa's message is getting so much attention. Many fans said the story is inspiring because it shows how important mentorship is in sports. The relationship between a player and a coach often becomes one of the biggest factors behind confidence and growth. Oluchi Okananwa's comments also show how young athletes value support and encouragement just as much as training and competition. Instead of speaking about pressure, she focused on appreciation, which made the message feel positive and motivating.
See,
this moment also highlights how college
in this day and age, you have to discuss things that should already be understood, right? Me as a athlete, former athlete, I understood exactly what was going on. I didn't think the coach was going to take off on her and punch her, but the coach was getting in her face because they're in a very tough situation. You don't get to that point. You don't get to that point by being afraid to hold each other accountable. You only win in sports if you're willing to hold each other accountable. And if you're not willing to hold people accountable and be held accountable, then you might as well just get your ass up off the field. You wasting everybody's time. You're wasting everybody's time, and no one needs you around. I loved when my coach would get in my face and tell me something because it was the kick in the butt that I needed. And the reason why a lot of African American people have a problem with this, and people period have a problem with this, is because our country, our nation, the world, it's going soft. It's going soft. Nobody wants to be held accountable, and nobody wants to hold anyone else accountable. But they want to complain about the results that come with refusing to be held accountable and with refusing to hold other people accountable. I have no issue with Oluchi. I have no issue with her coach, Brenda Fries. That's her team. And when it's a coach, outside of some type of sexual abuse or physical violence, she runs her team the way she wants to. I tell my daughter's an athlete. You know, I told her a long time ago, hey, when that coach start going off on you and yelling at you, I don't want to hear it. Because if you out there doing what you supposed to do, you ain't going to have to worry about that. Work harder, take it, use it. It's motivation. Get cracking. You got too many parents nowadays that coddle their children. Oh, how dare you talk to my kid like that? Why do you think your damn kid is special? They're not special and they're never gonna be special because you are not a parent. You're an enabler. You're the person blocking their blessings because your ego is offended by the way somebody else is talking to them. And as parents, we really have to be careful and make sure that we're not creating an environment where our kids feel like they're above, correction or above getting a stern talking to. I love Oluchi's attitude. I love the way she came, to the defense of her coach and let everybody know exactly what was going on in that exchange. She's a stand-up player and she deserves everything that she got. She deserves everything she has because that's what it takes. So many people would have took that and used that as a moment to try to make money and hurt the program, but she didn't. She was mature about it. She was mature about it, and it's reaping benefits. They ended up winning, from what I'm seeing. I believe they won. Did they win the national championship? I believe they won. I don't know. I don't follow women's basketball. I don't follow women's basketball. No. So they're in the tournament, I think. Y'all not even commenting, but yeah, I don't think they won. I think this is just a tournament that they're in. Brandon, what if schools bring back spanking? How would you feel about that? I would feel like it's great because some of these kids need their ass whooped. We're in a bad situation, y'all. I'm telling you, when it comes to kids, schools, etc., we are in an extremely bad situation. And as far as I can see, it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse. It needs to be addressed and it needs to be rectified immediately. But let me tell you the reason why. Because if you don't do anything about it, undisciplined kids who never get corrected, at the end of the day, they only end up hurting themselves, right? They end up costing themselves everything. That's why God gave children parents. So you could make sure that you train your kid in a way and discipline your kid in a way to where they won't be an impediment to themselves, right? If you don't do that, you'll find your kids end up blocking their own blessings. That's just the way it is. You'll find your kids blocking their own blessings, and they're gonna blame you at the end of the day. They will literally be like, yo, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you teach me? Why didn't you let me know that this attitude that you allowed me to carry throughout my childhood and into my adulthood was going to be something that hurt me? They'll blame you. That's the way kids are. If you are too stern and strict, they're going to come back at you blaming you like you were too stern and strict. You didn't let me do nothing. You didn't let me experience life. If you are not strict enough, they're going to come back to you and say, hey, you weren't strict enough. You didn't let me experience life. You was out here just letting me do whatever. It's going to come back to you no matter what. So the best thing to do is to try to, raise your kids to have balance, to be disciplined people. And in order to raise disciplined children, that takes discipline. No matter how you want to slice it. To have disciplined children takes discipline. And a lot of parents, they don't like to discipline their children in any way, shape, or form. And it's starting to show. So there's this huge scandal. We're going to stick with basketball for a second. There's this huge scandal where it's being said that you have college coaches that are now saying that they do not want kids coming to their schools who do not have a two-parent household. They're out here saying that if the kid ain't raised by a mother and a father, we don't want him. And this was on full display in the recent college men's national championship game where the Iowa Hawkeyes defeated the Florida Gators. Someone was on this story from the very beginning. They've been saying this for several years now. And I feel that this person has kind of been exonerated because they faced a lot of scrutiny for some of the statements that they made regarding this situation that we now know is a reality. And that person is none other than Jason Whitlock.
Apartheid in America. Cinderella is there. Let's start with the obvious. Cinderella is dead. The NCAA tournament is not like it used to be. The NCAA tournament was fine this weekend. It was entertaining, but it's not the same as it used to be. The Sweet 16 is filled with just power conference schools. This is, I believe, the second straight year of that. Cinderella is there. Texas is not a Cinderella. Yes, they're an 11 seed. Yes, they pulled off an upset, but they're not Cinderella. They got as much money as anybody, will spend as much money as anybody, bought Sean Miller as their coach. That's not Cinderella. So, that's the obvious. What is not so obvious is that it's part of an overall cultural shift going on in America that we will talk about today. And the Great Replacement Tournament is what this is. It's not just the killing of Cinderella. It's the killing of the American dream, of the people, the rags to riches story. It's the killing of where I came from. Nothing. And when I say nothing, I don't mean it in a biblical way. I mean it in a financial, economic, American dream way. Someone starting from poor, ghetto, father, didn't graduate high school, father starts out as a factory worker, father opens up a small business in the inner city of Indianapolis, mother, a lifelong 30-year factory worker, starting out in the hood, moving up inch by inch by inch, and then putting their kids, me and my brother and my stepsister, in position to go to college so that we can elevate. That pathway is being closed in college sports and in America in real life. And people can feel it, they can see it. It's obvious.
Now, Jason, bad choice of words. I come from nothing. Then talks about what is very much something, right? That ain't nothing. I hate when black people be like, I came from nothing. I came from the dirt. You got your mama and your daddy in the home. They both working, and they had enough money to pinch pennies and send your butt to college and send you your siblings to college. That ain't nothing. Trust me, bro. It gets lower than that. Because imagine if you had a single mama on Section 8 that ain't never had a job, don't even read at a 10th grade level, couldn't get a job if she wanted one, or if she got one, she don't got the people skills to keep one, and she got an alcohol habit, a drug habit, messing around with different men every week and stuff like that. So understand that even when Jason Whitlock says nothing, he ain't experienced nothing. He is what many in the black community would call a person who was born with a silver spoon. Because in the black community, just having your mama and daddy in the house together, not arguing every day and having knockdown, drag out fights and not being addicted to some type of narcotic, that is a win. That is a win. You should do well. As a matter of fact, in the black community, he should have did better than what he's doing with that level of it, that much of an advantage compared to the rest of the people who exist within his community. I'm just saying.
If you just open your eyes, they're explaining to you in the sports world what's going on in your real life. And that's why this NCAA tournament has been a bit frustrating. Those of the have-nots will satisfy themselves with a first-round game, getting blown out, and hey, you went to the big dance. Now get out of here. We have real business to take care of. And this is all due to the transfer portal and name, image, and likeness. Anybody that tells you otherwise, anybody that tells you the tournament's just the same and it's just as good, it's not. They're lying to you. They're in denial about what's going on in America and what's going on in the NCAA tournament. The sports world and the real world, they reflect each other. They program you through television screens and through the content that they give you. And so they've gotten the sports world on board with the killing of the American dream, the killing of the rags to riches story. That's obvious. The other thing how they want to satisfy you is with DEI. For those of you that are have-nots, and particularly for those of you, the people of color, black people, black Americans, they want to satisfy you with DEI. They will put a symbol or two out in front of your face to say, look, nothing's changed. You too can be a part of the American dream. Look at Nate Burleson. Look at Renee Montgomery. Look at the CBS studio show where we put a group of Negroes out front to cover up for the fact that everybody behind the camera, everybody on the other side of the camera, it doesn't look like that. It's not them. And so Nate Burleson, who has no business hosting an NCAA tournament show, the big dance. This is a inconsequential NFL player. And by inconsequential, I'm not trying to be brutally negative, but no one remembers Nate Burleson's career. He had a nice one.
I remember Nate Burleson. Doesn't he play? He played receiver for the Vikings, I think. I could be wrong, but I remember him. He played, I believe, I believe he played for the Vikings. Yeah, he was a football player. He was NFL. Yeah, Minnesota Vikings. Why, bro, hating on Nate, bro? Hey, Jason, stop hating, bro. You sounding like a fat, jealous dude right now. He hating on Nate. But the point Jason is making, right, and he's going to go on to make it, but we don't have time to listen to him emote. He's basically saying that college football and basketball is now eliminating the Cinderella story. The story where, the rags to riches, some kid came from abject poverty and was able to achieve success in one of the major league sports of America is basically dead. These kids now, the rich kids are now taking the spots that the poor kids once dominated on the sports field. When I was young, you could get a scholarship to play football or basketball straight out of high school to go to a major university with no money and really no real technical skill. Your talent was enough to get you into university, and then the university would then teach you the technical aspects of the game, and you would fight to make it to the league. And a lot of people's families rested their hopes and dreams upon their son or their daughter, maybe in some sport, using his or her talent to get to a point where they could go to college, get a degree, make it to the big leagues, and come back as a multimillionaire and take care of the whole family. Those days are pretty much done. Even in middle school, you have kids now doing training camps, highly specialized training, learning the technical aspects of the game, how to move, the science of movement, how to move more efficiently and effectively to be more effective on the court or the field. And these things cost money. Little Johnny out in the street playing with his friends, playing sideline pop, at the local park, playing tackle, or gang tackle football, is not enough to compete on those even little league levels anymore. Now, I would push back against some of the people like Whitlock who are like, it's just money ball now. Whoever got the money to get the training is going to make it. I think that the fact that our kids are hopelessly attached or addicted to screens, cell phones, tablets, all that plays a huge role in this. But let's be real. It all leads to the same conclusion. If your kid doesn't have the time, desire, or money to get specialized training from the time they're young, there's a very low likelihood that they are going to be able to even make a high school team these days, let alone a college team that will put them in position to actually make it to the NFL, or a basketball team that will put them in a position to make it to the NBA. I think a lot of that started with people like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, where mulatto or mixed race kids were able to show that they were able to outplay the highly talented kids from the hood, because they would surpass them not only on a technical level, but even with the talented that they had, they were able to marry that to their technical prowess and absolutely dominate kids who were resting on talent alone. And there's an old saying, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that's what we're running up against. You got kids who are just, even at a young age, they got the Mamba mentality, man. They're locked the fuck in. They're ready to ball out. They're ready to put it all on the line to, deliver, for their team. They're willing to do that. They're not asking for any favors, and they're not giving any quarter. You're going to get out on that field and get dogged out by someone who is, God forbid, they're bigger, faster, and stronger than you. But they might be bigger, faster, and stronger than you and be more technical than you. So they're beating you at every aspect of the game. And the way this stuff used to play out back in the day was like, yo, this guy might have the technical advantage on me, but I can make up for that and surpass that with my talent. Nah, these dudes are not only talented, these dudes also got the technical knowledge and got the money to get more technical knowledge if they need to. I mean, these dudes know how their body works and responds in every scenario versus you with no money who like you gotta beg, your mama your mama gotta figure out how she gonna buy you a pair of damn cleats. I saw that with my nephew playing football this past football season. He's very good and he's highly talented. But just the things he had to struggle to get, which I ended up buying him cleats and all that stuff. But just the things his mother had to try to struggle to get. These other kids is like, yo, we going to Orange Theory to work on functional training with a trainer. Bro ain't got money for that. Bro still trying to wait for his mama, to get the money to get him some cleats, right? So now when he gets on the field, you got these kids, they've been doing functional training for 6 months. They've been at the I forgot what it's called, but they've been doing the flute training at the local athletic science facility. Bro been working, collecting dollars and $5 bills to just get a pair of cleats. When they get on the field, who you think gonna have the advantage? I'm just telling you. This is the reality. Versus like my daughter, she is someone who she's a bit undersized for the position she plays. But because she is able to afford to go to the clinics, get the private training, go get trained by like an Olympic AVP champion coach, she excels over girls who are 3, 4, 5 inches taller than her. You see what I'm saying? She goes up against, she's about 5'10". She goes up against a girl 6'4" and dominates, right? Why? Because she has the ability and the financial backing from her parents to go get all that special training to where she is approaching the game from a totally different level, right? It makes a huge difference. So then when she goes to a tournament, she gets back home, they go to Boston or Dallas or something for a tournament. She come back home, it's 4 or 5 emails from college coaches talking about we gonna come watch you and see you. We were in Boston. The coach from Boston was like, yeah, I heard you're gonna be at Vegas. I'm gonna come to Vegas to watch you. Other side of the country to come check her out. That's how it works. And I'm really understanding that more now, being a parent who's willing to pay, the cost for his kid to be able to compete at the highest level in something. And I'm telling you, the girl at the school down the street who is talented and she's pretty good and she's tall and, whatever, she's athletic, she's getting passed up for the girl who has all the technical training plus some athleticism. Because the coach is like, I don't have to teach all that. I could plug this person in and we just do it moving. I had a team that almost got to the championship last year. I don't got to bring in a freshman and coach them up, and it's going to be 3 years until we get back there. They like, I bring in this one who has all the technical training, already played in a system like mine, understands the philosophy and principles and concepts of volleyball, and boom, we're good. We're gone, right? That's what we're dealing with now. And so that's what Jason Whitlock is talking about. Those days are over. And this ties back into what I always talk about when I talk about like African Americans and minorities. A lot of the doors that were once open to us, they're being closed because people are learning and they're evolving this to be able to outdo you in areas where you once dominated. No one thought Steph Curry, Lil Mix Boy, was going to come in and become probably the greatest point guard in the history of point guards. Steph Curry came in through the back door. They thought the greatest point guard ever was going to be a passer. They didn't know that the greatest point guard ever was going to be a straight assassin from behind the three-point line. We used to approach basketball like point guard don't even shoot the rock. I'm telling you, 30 years ago, you would not have been able to convince any player in the NBA that the man who would be revered as the best point guard in the history of the league would be a dude who shot the ball more than he passed it. You would have never been able to convince nobody of that. But look where we are. It's just them's the facts these days. So yeah, Jason Whitlock, he's making a lot of sense. Another thing he talks about is how they don't want any. There's this thing where some coaches are saying that they don't want any kids that don't come from a 2-parent home. Now think about that. You have coaches now who are saying they don't want a kid. They don't take a kid unless he comes from a 2-parent home. And you know what's funny about that is there's this video with Coach Deion Sanders where he was talking about when he does his recruiting, what does he look for? And Deion Sanders was like, well, I want a kid from a single-parent home. They struggling. They hungry. They this. They that. Deion went and got all them boys from them single-parent homes raised by single mothers and went out there and got his ass worked last season. The dynamic has shifted now. It used to be the underdog, the KD. You know what I'm saying? My mama, she worked 2 jobs. Woo, 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 woo. Right? And even then, we didn't understand that, well, the mama was working 2 jobs because she was even paying for some of these clinics and stuff. They just wasn't telling you about it. This ain't the LeBron James story no more. Oh, I'm raised by a single mother, but the coach come take me under his wing and raise me up to be one of the greatest basketball players ever. Those days are over. These coaches are like, we need the 2-parent home kid. The kid from the single parent, the single parent family with just the mom, too unruly, don't want to listen to nobody, straight up sassy like his mama, right? And when he called, the mama don't get his head on straight. Hey, you need to listen to them coaches. Nah, the mama defends his ignorance. The mama enables him. The mama encourages him to be unreasonable, unruly, and defiant. Right? And then the coach say, you know, you just got to go. So now the coaches, they done tried and they failed. So now the coaches is like, just send me the kid with the daddy and the mom in the house. At the bare minimum, I know I'm not going to have to worry about them listening. I know I'm going to get a yes sir, no sir. They not going to be showing up late. That's real. Understand that. And I believe that was one of the biggest problems with our community. You know, many black people, they look at college and scholarships and athletics as a reward. But for too long, the colleges were rewarding the dysfunctional black families, right? Single mama, single kids, kid doing a life of crime on the side, boys in the hood type stuff with Ricky, you know, the one who got shot. They were rewarding that. Now, they've thrown that away. They've totally abandoned that. Now they're rewarding the people who doing it right. I mean, one thing about like my kid's not perfect. Nobody's kid's perfect. But I've never had a coach go and say, hey, your kid don't work hard. I've never had a coach say, hey, your kid is disrespectful. I've never had that, ever. If my daughter's coach came and was like, man, your daughter was disrespecting me, I'm not going to lie to you. I would be blown away. I would be blown away if a coach told me that. I'd be pissed off and I'd be hitting her up immediately. But I would be blown away because I just, you know, with my kid, she doesn't engage like that. You know, she handles her business. You know, she goes there. She's there for a reason. Man, my dad and my mom, you know, they paid a lot of money for me to be here. And I'm gonna act like it, and I'm gonna appreciate it. You know? And it shows. But there's kids that, you know, the single mother raised kids, they don't have that attitude. You know what I'm saying? I'm God's gift to everything. Y'all the ones who asked me to come here. Woo, 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 you know? So, you know, we do, you know, but now it's crazy how the dynamic is shifting. I'm not going to lie. I'm one of those people who never saw it going this way. But now that it's going this way, I'm like, I'm not mad at it. You know? I'm not mad at all by it. You just gotta be, you know, I feel like things are balancing. The universe has a way of balancing itself out. But nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw this coming. Where coaches would say, we don't want the more talented kid who is, coming from the single parent home. We want the kid who might be a little bit less talented, but we ain't got to deal with all this bull crap because this kid is raised in an environment where there's discipline. That's the craziest thing to me. We just always assumed, little talented Pookie, you know what I'm saying? He gonna be here. He gonna be the one able to do whatever the hell he want because he has the talent, But now it's technical. It's all about technical. It's all about expert. It's all about indiscipline. So, man, it's a sad day. But get your kids in order. But I love it because it's also like now, when you have those kids, daddy ain't just gonna be able to say, "Oh, he gonna be in the NFL." Nah, he gonna be in the NFL if you stay in his life. He gonna be in the NFL if you stay and be the man of the house and raise the family. If you don't do that, he ain't got a chance. That's real. He ain't got a damn chance. But it's just, I mean, I feel sorry for a lot of these kids. And, I go to some little league games and stuff because my friends coach and all that. And, man, the kids are just ass. They're ass. No natural talent. There's not much natural talent out there anyway. I look at these kids now and I'm like, these screens have destroyed our children. These screens have destroyed our children. It's not that the little white boys and stuff is getting better. The black kids are getting worse. The black kids are getting worse, man. I'm like, I see one kid, my homeboy's son, Rich Trapper. He's in that No Jumper sphere. His son is a beast, dude. But he can't win for losing because all them other little kids are just trash. Man, they're horrible. His son is an absolute dog on the field. But he's surrounded by a bunch of kids. You could just tell that all they do is sit up on the tablet all day. His son play linebacker. Bro be on every tackle, coverage, everything from middle linebacker. These other kids is, man, when I tell you, big old boys out there can't even get down in a three-point stance, man. Crying on the sideline. And I understand it's little league, bro, but you are out here crying on the sideline. You a big old boy and you out here crying. But that's what it's come to. And what do you see out there with them? A bunch of single mamas trying to argue and fight with the coach, right? And those college coaches is like, we not dealing with this shit. Hell no, you ain't coming up here trying to go crazy on us. It's really crazy. It's really wild. But yeah. So y'all just know, don't be out here dropping babies off. Don't be out here dropping babies off thinking that they gonna come calling you 20 years later talking about, Daddy, I made it to the NFL. Hell no, not no more. It's a bittersweet thing, but it's really I think in the long run, it's gonna have a huge impact. In the long run, it's gonna be major. And I think it's gonna it's gonna be a benefit at the end of the day. But let me see. I'll show you guys this. Here goes some athletes. Here goes some athletics. Yeah, my daughter plays middle blocker. Bam. She cooking from the middle. See? But the thing is, the coaches are looking at the kids with the results. See? You in the middle on volleyball, you dominating. You're dominating. You think they want to deal with the kid who's, oh man, they tall, but they ain't doing shit because they got no discipline. They got no heart. Don't come from a good home. No, they want the kid right there who's like, every time I touch the ball, something's happening. Every time I touch the ball, those people were on X, I think. They were on X. But that's what they want. You know, you go to tournaments, every time you touch the ball, something good happened. Right there, bam. They're like, that's where the coach gonna call. Hey, we need this person. Then you gonna sit and meet with the coach. They're gonna say, oh man, mom and dad, boom, plus, 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 plus. They want pluses. They don't want minuses. They want hard work, good home, effective. Right? That's all they want. That's what, you know, the two-parent household provide. An example. Even you just working your marriage out and being there for your kid and them just saying, man, my mom and dad might have issues, but they get through it. They face adversity, but they get through it. That's the ultimate lesson of sports. You face adversity, but you get through it together. And the first example they have of that as children is their parents. That's their first example, so they know it's possible, right? But yeah. So that's my little athlete playing middle blocker. She in back row right now. She played damn near all the positions, but she's middle blocker. But when she get that rock right here, bam, over two people taller than her. See? But it don't matter about the size. It just matter about the heart. You know, if you and the technical skill. And see, that stuff right there, everything that happened, that stuff right there is, I know it's not just talent. I know it's hard work because I watched where she did, you know, she trained and her coach was like, you're a little short. So this is how you deal with someone who's tall. This is how you deal with people tall putting up a double block. This is how I started literally learn how to deal with every situation that she would face, you know, when she goes to like high level. This is pretty high level club. These dudes is traveling to different states, right? Playing. And, you know, they're winning. But literally learning how to deal with every adverse situation. You know, you 5'9", 5'10", and you going up against two girls who 6'4". They putting up a block every time. See right there? Bam, you got to put the ball down. She learned. She worked hard. She went out there and drill after drill after drill after drill after drill. Right? That's you know, what the coaches want now. And you're in a lot of that, you only going to learn that technical stuff and that situational stuff by doing private trainings. And the shit's expensive. I ain't going to lie to you. It's expensive. So y'all make sure y'all help us reach our donation goal. It's expensive, but at the end of the day, when your kid gets a scholarship and you ain't got to pay for college, hey, it all paid for itself, right? But yeah, I love watching her. She's exciting, and she's strong as hell. So when you see that, you just like, yeah, she cooking. You know what I'm saying? And in volleyball, you face every adversity, from where you don't look the part, you too short. We like this white girl because she tall and skinny and looks like a beach blonde, and we just like the way she look. All types of shit. You deal with it. But I watched her just go through it like the Terminator. Boom, 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 boom. And now they like, shit, we want her. Her mother, forget them. We want this swing right here. We want this block. We want this passing. And it's crazy how that happens. And it's so much more fulfilling when you earned it. When it ain't somebody just saying, well, you got talent, so let me just put you in there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's what we working with, y'all. as far as on this end. So when I talk about it, I ain't just talking. I lived it as a parent, and I watched my kid live it as a child, an athlete, student athlete. But guys, listen, my rough voice, which thank God it held me up for a good while here. I appreciate it, but I think it's at its end. It's had enough. I want to thank you guys for watching the stream. I was happy to have you here. It's always an honor to be able to keep you up to date with the news and give you my opinions on things. Thank you so much for watching. Till the next time, please take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of each other. Peace.